Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Tower of God.
Shooting stars never fly for me. I'm so close, kinda hard to see. I'll see you again. I'll see you again.
Having an intuitive understanding and insight on something doesn't come without an acute awareness. As a reader, being able to grasp the indications Sue constructs through brief exchanges of characters or fleeting flashbacks is the ingenuity of the story being told in front of us. How well did you perceive or gauge what's unfolding right in front of you? Perception is the fundamental key illustrated within the story and out. So what sort of lesson does this brief cluster of chapters of an arc, Last Chance, provide to us as readers? Whether it's the exchange between two jihad princesses, a boy struggling to make ends meet on the 20th floor, or the introduction of a new mysterious presence, don't regard anyone as less capable than they really are. Before I continue, I'm going to operate under the assumption that this is your first time reading Tower of God and you haven't made it past chapter 85. Even though this is my first reread and I already know the events that will transpire, I'm just going to do away with spoilers altogether, making it easy for everyone to enjoy. This is by no means the greatest introduction back into a story through a time skip, but it serves its purpose as a pretty damn good setup. With that being said, what exactly went down in this small arc that is integral to the narrative? The question to ask yourself when reading most literary works is, do I care? Do I genuinely give a shit about this set plot or character? But before you ask yourself that question, hopefully the writer did a pretty good job of creating a character that you actually enjoy. So will Wangnan be that person? Jumping back into this arc, we don't know what happened to Bam. It's been 5 years. Hell, we don't even know what happened to the people that he climbed the tower with. We get a brief introduction to a new set of potential characters as well as the current location, the 20th floor. We don't know how this new cast will tie into the story, but we can surmise they interact with the previous group at some point, especially since this character's goal is to become the king of the tower. We've seen this trope before. I think we can all agree that Sue deliberately crafting something only to dig himself into a pitfall is something we don't want to happen. There is a clear indication of setup, which we get at the beginning of the arc when we see Yuri returning home to visit her sister Repalista. After a brief exchange with Misheni Jihad, Yuri's goal is to find out if Bam is alive, since at this point in the story, most assume he's dead. This interaction piqued my interest. Repalista comes off as a fairly intelligent person. Not only does she know who Yuri is looking for, but she even says it. But she seems important enough that someone like Yuri, who's in the top 500 rank status, seeks for help. Repalista mentions how she's waiting for the Prince of Jihad to return, and since Wangnan just talked about wanting to be the king, there may be some alluding there. Since Misheni was also visiting earlier, we can safely assume she also could be part of Repalista's grand plan. And did you see how many freaking lighthouses Repalista had in the background? So who the hell is Wangnan? He's this boastful, naive-looking kid who inspires to be the king of the tower. He seems to have a strong determination in life to achieve his goal, since he took the test multiple times and failed but doesn't give up. This includes betting his life by selling his organs to a man named Luker Kim, a loan shark, that he wouldn't fail this time. He plans to scale up the tower floors and reach the true top of the tower, unlike those who have given up. The 20th floor seems quite special, since that once you pass a series of tests, you are known as an E-ranked regular. Wangnan is known as the 20th floor repeater, and he really hasn't had luck on his side. First impression on him, he's actually quite hilarious. He sort of puts himself in an awkward position based on his mannerisms and personality, but that's who he is. I like that he's figuring out everyone climbing the tower is motivated by their own ambitions and goals that they want to achieve. It's nice to know Sue is giving other characters layers, which is important because it helps readers to visualize and connect so they don't feel so unrealistic. As a writer, having your audience gauge what's unfolding through their own understanding helps them to gain an acute perception on what they see. You feel much better when you're able to perceive the intended meaning or form an understanding on your own of a situation at play. We didn't exactly know who this individual was at this point in the story until the last chapter, but we surmise that he is quite strong. For starters, he was pretty confident to take on 5-on-1. We know he's a wave controller, a pretty good one since he took on the strongest 2 in the first part of the test. He also has regeneration capabilities. Now the flashback on the last chapter, 85, shows Rachel talking to Bam, and since the panels indicate that it could possibly be him, all sorts of questions flash through your mind. What the hell happened to him over the 5 years? He's cold, distant, makes harsh decisions, probably based on the fact of his betrayal by Rachel, someone he more than trusted. Not much we know about him as of yet, but as we continue to go down these arcs, we'll see how it all unfolds. It's easy to take for granted having the will to move on, to press forward. That's the similarities we find between these two characters. If the narrative of a story makes the character's progression feel natural and not contrived, then it's a step forward in the right direction. The stylization and aesthetics have improved since pre-time skip, but it's still lacking compared to other webtoons. This story arc has a lot of potential, so we'll see how everything pans out. So far though, to me it's a 7 out of 10. This is a likable set of arc, and yeah, I can say I can't wait to see what happens. That's gonna do it for me today. Like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and as always, you can find me in the Discord. I'll link, and stay tuned for my next videos.